come in from, I'm not sure who, I suspect a coach. You are brainstorming with a client and you need to recommend 2 daily morning practices to get your client's day started on the right foot. What would you pick?
We're recommending to the client?
So like a brainstorming, yeah, back and forth brainstorming activity.
There's a lot of things that are coming to mind. Raj, do you mind starting this one off, and I'll kind of feed off of that to give me a chance to get some of my thoughts.
Yeah, of course. So the challenge for me was holding back on 2, if I'm honest with
That's
you.
my feeling. I'm like, how do we choose 2?
So I think morning practices for me, 2 that I might be picking or brainstorming with, I'm going to go with setting an intention or a goal for the day. That is one. And then the second one, and I know not everyone is experienced in meditation, so I'm going to say meditation / mindfulness. And what I mean by that, often when I'm working with clients, we have a look at maybe not having your phone right next to you. So for me, my husband, last probably 3 or 4 years, we don't plug our phone next to the bed. It is plugged in the laundry room, so that you don't like roll over in the morning and pick up the phone, start scrolling on social media or looking at the news or looking at emails. So for me, that kind of connects to just waking up and being still.
Yeah.
What else would you kind of add to that, Ashley?
Yeah, that's great. I would add gratitude, actually. Even just 3 things that you are grateful for from the day before or when you woke up in the morning. And it can be simple things, which I think you and I have talked about before, the power of gratitude on a live previously. The other first one that came to mind was similar to meditation, but it's just like sitting in solitude and being with ourselves. So not having technology, not having anything in front of us. For me, it's I do some prayer and kind of meditate on some verses from the Bible, but it could be just being present with yourself with no noise around you. I'll go make coffee and then I'll light some candles and let my coffee sit and just sit. And they say like 12 minutes of time in solitude where you don't have any distractions and you're just with yourself. It brings up things within yourself that are probably worth looking at and loving on. And it also gives room for creativity because we constantly have stuff in our ears and we're looking at things. And so it gives us that space similar to meditation of just like being. And it's been super life-changing for me this summer to incorporate that into my morning practice of solitude, which I didn't realize at first. It was really hard too, because your mind's going everywhere and you're like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And so and then you're eventually like, wow, I really love those 12 minutes. That went by really fast. I think I need an hour. So
I agree. And sometimes part of the brainstorm as I'm listening to you, it might be, as I work with clients, that they've decided to wake up 20 minutes earlier. Because I hear all the time, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to fit this in or do this or self-care. And you're talking about 12 minutes. It's not that much really, is it?
No, and it makes such a difference. Yeah, it could just be somebody who even wakes up 15 minutes early, goes to another room, sits themselves down and just lets themselves just be present with themselves. And it would be really impactful.
What changes have you seen in yourself since you've been incorporating these practices?
Initially I recognized just how chaotic my mind was, how I was so used to listening to a podcast or having music on or being in a meeting or, so to be in silence was very telling for me of just what was kind of going on in my mind that I didn't really realize. It also showed some desires too of just maybe some things that, how do I put it? Okay, one of the things I remember when I first started, I was like, oh, okay, I need to get this for the house. I need to get this. I need to get, and my mind was going, and I was like, wait, oh, I don't need these things. I mean, it'd be nice to have that dresser in my bedroom, but why is my mind automatically going to this space of like need and consume? And so how do I release that desire and just allow myself, like deny myself of that in this moment, and just kind of come back to contentment and peacefulness? So I've noticed it's calmed that down, and it's calmed down just, it slowed me down, I even think, in conversation and in my days as well, of just kind of like, okay, there's like restfulness within the fullness of my life. And I think solitude has contributed a lot to that. What about you? What has meditation contributed to your life?
Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, I think even more than meditation, it is what you're talking about, being able to be present, the mindfulness piece. And sometimes we all fall off, don't we? You know, I have to catch myself on time where I've gone maybe a few too many days without journaling, or I do like to set 3 goals at the beginning of the day. You know, what are my priorities? What are my goals? Because otherwise it can feel overwhelming, or your to-do lists feel too long. So I notice a big difference in myself when I don't do any of these things, or something is falling off, or, you know, for a few days, maybe I've fallen off of gratitude, or, as I said, setting that intention. I show up differently. I'm grumpier. I have less patience. I probably have less tolerance. Maybe I am being more judgy with self and others as well. And I find through meditation, and I'll come to mindfulness in a minute, stress or anxiety can minimize.
Yeah.
Or things that seem bigger than they really are when you're tired, or you're not taking care of yourself, you're not putting your own oxygen mask on first, like they say on the flights. I can see where I have not been taking care of myself very well affects all of that energy and how I show up. And then I think mindfulness, even throughout the day, like I have a lot of stimulating things around me in my office. I actually have a shelf up here. I'll show you all some other time. I'm not going to get up now, with books, and they have different quotes on them, inspirational quotes. And sometimes in between meetings, I will just stop to look around my office, or step outside and really look at the flowers, or really look at the trees. Because we kind of delete so many things around us. What are your thoughts on that, Ashley?
Yeah, I love that. It really, one thing I was gathering from what you're saying is just this being in tune with what's really going on for yourself. You know, I think sometimes I can be reactionary to something, and there's actually something else that is the root of whatever that might be. So giving myself space to be there. And like you're saying, it also takes you outside of yourself. So in that solitude too, there's an awareness of, you know, for me, a creator, but also like other people and what is around me, and how can I be in tune to that? And like you're saying, in nature, and how do we be present, not just in the few minutes of meditation, mindfulness, or solitude, but in every day. There's so much that is in nature and in the world to offer things to us that we can offer back with, just a lot of gratitude and love. But we need to slow down a lot of times to be able to see that and recognize it. So that's really beautiful, Raj.